Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, fine.
Hello, good evening to all. I am Vidya Kishan, faculty of Sri Narayana Law College, Bhuthota. I take this opportunity to welcome you all to the webinar Women Leading the Way as part of our Women's Day celebration organized by IQSC Sri Narayana Law College, Bhuthota. First of all, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Raghunathan, Principal, Sri Narayana Law College, Bhuthota. He is a strong pillar behind us, always come up with various academic activities. I welcome you, sir, to this meeting. Now, a big welcome to the chief guest of the day, our resource person, Dr. Leela Ramamurthy, Assistant Professor, Coordinator, Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth, um, and an educationalist and experienced school administrator. Dr. Mrs. Leela Ramamurthy has proved her mettle in the field of administration. She has to credit a postgraduate degree in child development and educational psychology as well as in education. The Inter-American University of Humanistic Studies USA, in recognition of her distinguished achievement and for the projects and research work submitted in the field of special education, dyslexia, has conferred her PhD. Leela Ramamurthy has also done many certificate courses in special education, yoga and mediation, etc. She has served Chinmaya Vidyalayas at Chennai and at Chinmaya Vidyalaya Tripunithara for nearly 14 years. She has attended and conducted many national level workshops and received many awards like Vocational Excellence, Best Teacher, Best Principal, Tamil Nalvadi Nilayam, that is Woman of Tamil Nadu, uh, and uh, and he was also awarded a honorary of Paul Harris Fellowship, and also served as a coordinator of curriculum development and also a resource person of CBSE Center for Excellence. And Leela Ramamurthy is a member of Rotary Club of Tripunithara, and she is also the member of conjoined group of Janamaitri Police Station, Tripunithara. Ma'am, welcome you, ma'am, to this meeting. And also a big welcome to our Vice Principal, Srimati Sindhu Soman. She is a real mentor and motivator behind us. Welcome you, ma'am. And a hearty welcome to the faculties and students from various law colleges and the faculties of Sri Narayana Law College and students of Sri Narayana Law College. Once again, welcome you all to this meeting and very wishes to the Happy Women's Day wishes to all the participants. First, now I invite Dr. Mrs. Leela Ramamurthy to address the participants.
Thank you, Sindhu, for that very, very elaborate introduction. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you?
ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, my dear sisters and brothers, Principal Raghunath of the school, and then Sri Vidya, Vice Principal, Sindhu Mohan, Vice Principal, then Vidya, who was coordinating with me, and I should thank Sindhu for bringing me today. So, all the participants, students, and faculty members, today is a very wonderful day. Can you all switch off your audio, please? Lot of disturbances. Yes. So thank you all for inviting me. So it is a wonderful day today that everybody is recognizing the womanhood and then congratulating being a woman. We are also very, very proud for today. But first of all, let me all wish all the women in the group happy Women's Day. But spiritually, when you look at ourselves, we are that completeness, which is nothing but happiness. That is our Sorupa. So do we need somebody to remind us that today is a happy Women's Day? Because being a woman itself is something very, very happy because we consider ourselves are blessed. And the nature and the celestial and then creation itself is under the control or the worshipping the womanhood as such. So today being an auspicious day, let us remember all those who have sacrificed their lives and then stood for the truth and then integrity, solidarity to bring the nation to the higher level to understand and then to take up the situation to in absence of men to the front fore. So let us see how when it comes to materialistic world, when we interact with the world outside and also within ourselves with five senses and emotions, definitely we do experience a mixed feeling of both happiness and sorrow, that manhood, because we are basically very, very emotional. Let me admit to that. Whoever says no, but then we are made specially, isn't it? Then let us quickly give a glance to our ancient India to see how many women came up to limelight by breaking all the barriers. In olden days, you know that women occupied a very important position in our ancient Bharatvarsha. In fact, far superior position to the men of the time. Shakti, a feminine term, means power and what? Strength. We have seen Parvati, Shiva, without Shakti, Shiva is Shavam. So that all those terminologies we are getting from our Puranas and then our scriptures and our culture. Shakti, a feminine term, means power and strength. The literally evidence suggests that kings and towns were destroyed because of rulers troubled a single woman. Even our society is getting distracted, destroyed because of not accepting the womanhood and giving the respect to the womanhood. For example, Valmiki Ramayanam teaches us that Ravana and his entire kingdom, we know, were wiped out because of he abducted Sita. Vedavyas's Mahabharata teaches us that all Kauravas were killed. Why? Because they humiliated Draupadi in public. And for that reason, Bhishma was punished because being a Kula Guru, he did not even object or raised or said even a no, even he didn't raise his single finger towards Duryodhana. Ilango Adigal in Chalapadikaram teaches us in Madurai about Kannagis, you know that. Capital of Pandyas was burned because of Pandya Nedunjarian mistakenly did harm to Kannagi. These are all history which happened. The evidences are there. In Vedic times, women and men were equal in many aspects. Men participated in public sacrifices alongside men. Some Vedic hymns are attributed to women as such as Apala, the daughter of Atri Gosha, the daughter of Kaksivat, and or Indrani, the wife of Indra. Apparently, in early Vedic times, women also received the sacred thread and could study the Vedas. We will wonder at those days how they have given the freedom and independent actions. The Panini's distinction between Acharya and Acharyani, a lady teacher or a preceptor's wife, and Ubhadhyaya, a preceptor, or Ubhadhyayini, a lady teacher, indicates that women at that time could not only be students but also the teachers of sacred Vedas. There were several noteworthy women scholarly of the past, and we know many from the history. The Upanishads refer to several women philosophers who disputed with their male colleagues, such as Vakyani, who challenged Yajnavalkya. The Rig Veda also refers women engaged in warfare. Our Queen Vispala is mentioned, and even as late a witness to Megasthenes has mentioned heavily armed women guards protecting Chandragupta's palace because he has visited India during the Maurya emperors. So Hindu religion has been occasionally criticized as encouraging inequality between men and women towards the detriment of Hindu women. But this presumption, I think it is very inaccurate. In the Vedic period, we come across female scholars like Gosha, Lopamudra, Romasha, and Indrani, we have just mentioned. In the Upanishad period, names of women philosophers like Sulabha, Maitreyi, Ghagi are encountered. In religious matters, Hindus have elevated women to the level of divinity. Because we say that wherever the ladies are not worshipped, there won't be any Lakshmi. One of the most important, most misconstrued about India and Hinduism is that it is a male dominated society and religion, and the truth is that it is not so. It is a religion that has attributed the works for the strength and power to feminine Shakti, which means power and strength. All male powers come from the feminine. The Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, all are powerless without their female counterpart, we say consorts. The spiritual aspects will go, or the dhalmic part of it. The consort means its own gunas. So that we will see later. And those days, women were considered as a gift to the society. They were called Griha Lakshmi, wealth of the house. There was no sati system or an early marriage there. From very beginning, enjoying free and esteemed positions in the Rig Veda society, women started discriminating against since the late Vedic period. In the invasion of Muslims and then British, we'll see that these are all got deteriorated. Our whole entire culture, the balance in the country, balance in the land has been destroyed. Even in education and other rights and facilities and practices like child marriage, window burning, parda system, polygamy further worsened the women's positions in the due course. We have seen in the history, you have been studying all this, you must have studied. There are some bright exemptions in this dismal picture. In spite of everything, the role of women in ancient Indian literature is immense. Ancient India had many learned ladies. I remember my great grandmothers or great great grandmothers, or in the country, even in our Kerala, there were a lot of ladies who were not having much of education, but their education was in the Sanskrit learning was in the house with the tutor. Acharya comes home, and they were all excellent in Akshara Shlokam. Their game was after lunch, all the ladies sit together and do the Akshara Shlokam in Sanskrit from the Upanishads and all the scriptures. Can you imagine that? Such a cultured family background we had once upon a time. And women who never married and cultured the Vedas throughout their lives, who studied the Vedas till they married. Panini mentioned all these female students and studying the Vedas. And fine arts. Women did write Sanskrit plays, verses, excellent in music, painting, and other fine arts you have seen. Now let us see. This is all gone and past glories. So now let us see those inspiring women from Indian history whose life continue to influence the way we think. Because today we can at least remember. Can you all write the names which comes to your mind first in the chat box? Ancient India, Indian history, not the latest. Okay. Can you mention some names? Just to give the respects, that's all. Okay, because I'm not going to, our topic is leaders. Can you just chat, put it in the chat box? Some names? And Vidya, can you read? Because I don't see much of chat boxes. Hello? Some names which comes to your mind? Yes, Gargi. Okay.
Rani Lakshmi Bai was mentioned.
Rani Lakshmi Bai, definitely. Yes. How can we forget? Okay, because of paucity of time, because I have only half an hour with me. Draupadi, Savitri Bai, and pioneers of Indian education, 19th century, Phule, Savitri Bai Phule. Vijayalakshmi Pandit, how can we forget her? Ananti Bhai Joshi, first Indian physician. Sujeta Kirbalini, a great freedom fighter who was got elected to Constitutional Assembly, who sang on August 15, 1947, our national song Vande Mataram for the first time, and she was the first Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh in 1963. Justice Anna Chandy from Kerala, 20th century, often described as the first generation feminist, first women in Kerala to get a law degree. You will be interesting, isn't it? Sarojini Naidu, the Nightingale of India. Captain Prem Mathuri, the first woman pilot in India. After acquiring her commercial pilot, she was denied the practices with 8 private airlines, but she did not yield, none of which wanted a women pilot. Finally, she went to Deccan Airways in Hyderabad, where she was selected, but they asked him, how do you manage with the boys around, at least in the dormitories? She said, you will not regret hiring me. That was she. And then Kalpana Chawla, how can you forget? The first Indian woman in space. Okay, now come to the women entrepreneurs, which you will be interested. Some names so that I can just highlight few more. Women entrepreneurs. Ancient or new? That is okay. Sudha Murthy, definitely. Nidambar. Kiran Mujumdar Shah, the founder of Biocon Limited, Ridu Kumar, the fashion designer, Indra Nooyi, the board member of Amazon, Aditi Gupta, the co-founder of Menstrupedia, the Falguni Nair, the founder of Nykaa, the Vani Kola founder, Kalari Group, and then Vandana Luthra, the founder of VLCC, Priya Kol, the chairperson of Park Hotel, Suji Mukherjee, the founder of CEO of LimeRoad, Radhika Ghai Agarwal, co-founder and CME of ShopClose.com, the most innovative tech women entrepreneurs in India, that is Ghai Agarwal. Some disturbances. Then original of our Slumdog Millionaire, who was it? Kalpana Saroj, who went to the first entrepreneurship in India. She bought the distressed assets of Kamani Tubes Company and successfully steered the company back to the profit. It's a big story behind the struggle. And then internationally, recently, Kamala Harris has got a root in India, shattered barriers to become the first woman vice president. And in a symbolism heavy victory speech, she told, while I may be the first woman in this office, but I won't be the last, I know, because so many will be following her. She was very sure that many will follow the suit. And next year's 2021-22, the international president is a woman for the Rotary International Club. She also paid tribute to her mother, Shyamala Gopalan Harris, Kamala Harris, who emerged from India when she was 19 and died in 2009. Maybe she said she will be enthralled to see this position of mine, but unfortunately she is not present. That was the comment she said. Don't you think these women inspire us who broke the social chains to become pioneers in their respective fields? These entrepreneurs who made a mark for themselves, these are all for the motivation that today you have to take. Some people will take resolution. Some moment will be revelation for us. Some moment will be inspiration for us. So let this moment be the remembrance and the inspiration for all of us. Women entrepreneurs do not do better even after independence. Only about 14% of Indian women own or run businesses, statistics says. According to the 6th economic census conducted in 2014, must have definitely improved drastically now. But more than 90% of companies run by women are micro enterprises. That is a problem. And about 79% are self-financed. But we have to go in a very, very big way because nobody can stop or nothing can stop. Now let us see the evolution of women leadership in our international scenario, which definitely has say in our India also. 2008 October, Royal Barry Hotel in Deauville, France was the backdrop for the annual conference of the Women Forum for the Economy and Society. And the keynote address, in the gathering, one lady commented that, I'll just read out, I quote, "These men kept telling us we were not qualified to make the big decisions. We did not understand the strategy. We lacked a vision and guts. It is time for women to stop buying into this myth that we are not ready for the top positions. clearly the world can't afford for us not to step up. In the years since, progress for women has proven substantial yet uneven. More women have assumed leadership of huge companies, huge and influential companies like GM, IBM, Lockheed Martin, and global institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, the European Central Bank. We all know that. 37 of the companies on the Fortune 500 list currently have female CEOs. We can clap on our pat on the back. A record high, though still a lower number. More women have also been elected to high office around the world. Since 1946, 64 countries have had a female head of state or government, according to the Council of Foreign Relations Women Power Index. As of May 2020, 19 countries were being led by a woman. At the same time, many women in companies, large or small, continue to remain stuck just below the vice president level. We know that very few are coming up for the presidentship and on top. Meanwhile, women-owned business have grown rapidly because it's a single or collectively maybe the family industry which is continuing. As of 2018, there were more than 12 million in the US alone, compared with just over 40 lakhs in 1972. Yet many of these enterprises remain drastically undercapitalized when compared with the male-owned businesses. So, where we have to look into. These facts, they tell a story, but what I have observed from the position I have been privileged to occupy for the past 3 decades on the front lines of women leadership as an head of the institution or member of international body like a Rotary. So their leadership suggests another parallel story. It is one that relies less on number than on the accumulation of representative anecdotes, which I can give you, and a willingness to look below the surfaces to discern larger social, economical, and technological trends. For 30 years, I have worked with women leaders around the world and in India, in Kerala, helping them recognize, articulate, and act on their greatest strength and address the barriers that undermine their efforts to build rewarding and sustainable careers. As far as I am concerned as a teacher, I've made a humpty number of principals and vice principals and in the ladies clubs and then other clubs to come forward with their own strength. During that time, I have watched as women's perception of themselves as potential leaders has undergone a remarkable shift. But still, there are more to do in this field. Women have become far more confident about what they have to contribute. Now they know their strength, and then all the help outside through the media or through other government agencies, non-government agencies, all are available now through NGO services. They have learned through experience the value of female solidarity and support. They have become more comfortable enlisting men as allies, just as men have become more open to being allies. So they have come forward now to recognize and to give the evolution has not looked the same for all women. Now all the men have come very, very friendly to help the womanhood in whichever scenario they want to grow with. Women who had been frustrated by decades, we know that as being the emotional being, we get frustrated very easily with the small things in the working places. By decades of halting professional progress, made their voices heard at the most senior level, which strategic decisions were to have to make. They viewed this moment as an opportunity to strengthen their resolve, push through the skepticism that had dogged their effort to move forward, to raise their voices. That frustration and resolve have both remained constant through a succession of subtle but distinctive turning points that have collectively informed the way in which many women recognize not only what they have, but also what the leadership that they have and to offer as leaders by with their success can profoundly benefit their organizations, and they have proved and they are proving, and in teaching institutions or any other places where the promotion or anything comes as a hierarchy of seniority is not much of problem, but in companies where the performance scale is being measured, it is very very difficult for somebody to establish your credibility. So understanding this interconnection of events and trends, how it has defined the evolution of women as leaders, can help us prepare for the new turning point that coronavirus crisis, I call, seems poised to the present. Here, as we move through the crisis, the jarring impact of this shift will inevitably reshape what people will look forward for their leaders, because the corona has changed our positions, where we work, how we work, and work and communication, and then counterparts being in the family, looking after the family and the working from home. It's all given a chance for women to look forward for more to come forward. What is called excellence in leadership is, by the starting of 1990s, we have seen women had been routinely entering the working place for 15 to 20 years. But then the organized, as a result, it was commonly assumed that any woman who aspired to a high position would need to adopt traditional male behavior and style. That is what an wrong assumption was there. They said we have to be like a men in the working place. So they insist the place is dog eat dog workplace. So one author bluntly advised women would do well to leave values at home and come. And some are insisting you have to wear the costumes like a pant and a shirt and a jacket and a tie and all in the workplaces to not to imitate, to give a notion that equality has to come even in the physical appearance. Corporate training programs for women, admittedly rare in that area, reinforce this advice. I recall self-led experts advising women how to act like one of the guys with the male colleagues. Awkward corporate fashion, you know that, no? So that is all insisting. Even now, some companies follow. The influx of women into organization, continued technological and economic evolution, a fortunate confluence, given that the skills many women brought to the workplace supported precisely the kind of personal engagement the new economy required. These skills include the ability to build strong relationships across levels, a bias for communicating directly as opposed to up and down a chain of command, a preference for leading from the center rather than from the top, because she believed that to become a middle, not to sit on the top or come down all the way down, and then to keep the position so that the center positions important, the circumferences you can see equal distance, and a comfort with the diverse perspectives instilled by having held outside status. You will have a Sachi Bhava. That is what it is all inbuilt in the woman. So this is not the suggestion that all women or all men lead the same way, but rather to recognize that the skills, attitude, and behaviors that men and women bring to the workplace have been formed by their own, often very different life experiences. We all bring our life, our character, behavior, personality, even to the office front. Industrial culture mostly benefited men who adapted easily to command and control, an approach that provided little advantage to the women because we are not used to. We stand for what we feel, and we don't have any inhibition to talk it out also. So that's why many women are called talkative. because we don't keep anything inside. We just immediately bring it out, whatever we feel. Who throughout most of the industrial era remained sequestered in the domestic world, venturing out into the workplace primarily to teach children or nurse the sick. This is how the women came out, first as teachers or to nursing, because that is something which is closer to the heart of every woman, to help others, and especially those who are needy and physically sick, aged, or diseased people. That is how that later only we have seen male nurses have come into the picture as a profession. So women were getting the message that they had something distinctive and timely to offer as leaders, and that their organization stood to benefit as a result. So to tell you, we have some qualities to either we have to enhance or we can bring into, or I am sure many are bringing into, or those who have brought into the company or working place have become successful and are proceeding to the success. So what is all those? From competence to the confidence. So competency, everybody will be having the same certificate of graduation, but then confidence level. So in those days, I routinely heard from executive search and internal human resource leaders, HR leaders, that women showed hesitance in pursuing a promotion or negotiating salary increases, because we give, that is the reason is we give less importance to the financial part of it. Exemptions are there, but we need to give a very sincere and dedicated work. We ourselves have an intrinsic motivation to applaud ourselves when we do a good job. So salary normally for a woman comes to the secondary. One job placement professional lamented, I get application from highly qualified women that start by listing all the ways they might not be qualified, but men who have less to offer convey a lot of confidence in their skills and so are more likely to get the position. Though we know that we can do a good job, but when it comes to a public performance, we do have hesitations. Many of us have, but at the same time, men would not be having such kind of a personality or a kind of a behavioral pattern. So they will be definitely selected for the post. So that is what happening in the interview scenario. The confidence gap, as it is to be called, has to some degree remain problematic for women. We don't want to be coming into the limelight. Yet I have witnessed a distinctive increase now in the women's confidence over the past 2 decades, 3 decades. Many are coming out, and it has become a problem like a teachers for us, that both are working. So somebody has to take care of women, and overprotectiveness because of the nuclear family, and they get very less time with children. So pampering too much and then feeding them too much and interfering with the children's and don't do and do's and too much, so that they become so irritated at the home front that they are waiting for a chance to explore their inner energy outside in many ways. So these are some of the drawbacks because of the increasing confidence that yes, I can go for work outside. But at the same time, those who are taking up very seriously, sincerely to the balancing both home friend and the company friend are excelling in their the positions, either at home or in the workplace. Powers in numbers as growing confidence based on demonstrated competence. The number increases, the determination to reach their full potential also is increasing. The increasing solidarity among women, a growing role for male allies, and vastly improved organizational engagement also have combined to create an infrastructure to support for women almost entirely missing in previous decades. It was not there, the situation, but now it is all slowly going away. But growing solidarity has helped address the isolation that made pursuing a character. But at the same time, it is not very rewarding or very much of satisfactory in the working field. It is like a kind of a Queen bee mentally, Queen bee mentality it is called, did sometimes prevail in companies where women held very few positions, influence or power because of tokenism, we say, no, tends to create a scarcity mindset. Because of the scarcity, we don't see much of women coming forward. As large numbers of women have ascended the rank recently, the competitiveness driven by this scarcity has steadily diminished. Many are coming and graduating and post graduation and higher studies, and then confidence level has boosted up because they are well exposed to. So the scarcity of getting women CEOs or beyond the vice presidentship is not much of a concern recently. Today, women's initiatives often play an integral role in companies' talent strategies. And research shows that diverse teams make smarter decisions and are more effective. They have found out, because diverse means both the men and women in the team makes it a very effective group. All this has resulted in far stronger support for women initiative. This is a positive sign for all of us. And what are the qualities that we have to look into? Let us just quickly go through it. We can motivate through transformation, because academic studies show that women are more likely to lead through inspiration, transforming people's attitudes, beliefs, aligning people with the meaning and purpose than men are. Since transformational leadership is linked in to high levels of team engagement, performance, and productivity, it is a critical path to improving leaders' performance. If men spend some time, I believe, trying to win people's heart and soul, leading with both emotional quotient and intelligent quotient, mixing together with a little of spiritual quotient, as said, intra intelligence we call it, no, as opposed to leaning more on the latter and nurturing a change in beliefs rather than behaviors, they would be better leaders. That lesson they can learn by looking at how women work. And women know their own limitations. They know that they have good self belief, that how far they have better self awareness, so that they know that this is a good news, because it enables all of us to understand how people see them and give them the capacity to spot gaps between where they want to be and where they actually are. When we aware of how far, what are our limitations, either and strength and weakness, we can always look into strength to improve and weakness to take care of. So that is also women are showing very good result in this area, to come over, win over their weakness in the workplaces by themselves, adopting their own skills, their own reflections, their own methodologies to win over their weakness, not depending on anybody else, but at the same time cling on to their own strength. Put your people ahead of yourself. That always a mother or a woman has got, because they have got the training. It's an inbuilt training which God has given them to manage people, because we are born managers. To me, women are born leaders. Only thing, as elephant doesn't know its own strength, we don't know our capacities and strength, how far we can reach, what is our end of the reach, how far we can function like a transforming figure. So it is very hard to turn a group of people into a high performing team when your main focus is in yourself. People who see leadership as a glorified character, a career destination, and individual accomplishment are too self-centered to foster their team's well-being. You know that mostly the men are like that. But at the same time, wherever the women are there, they are very selfless. They want to focus on others to build upon, to others to help upon, to give them the training or mentoring to come to a leadership position or to the center position. They don't even mind giving their own center position if somebody is waiting to take their center position. And that is called the student should come above the teacher's quality, because that through the student the teacher should be known. So that teacher, because the tutorship is inbuilt in women, that is how this mentality has been risen according to me. And we never used to command. We don't know most of the time. Exceptions are always there, but we do empathize. So we know how to empathize, putting ourselves into, because we are all very emotional. 1 minute. And focus on elevating others, I have seen. Don't say you are. Sorry. Some call has disturbed. Focus on elevating and never say you are humbled, because you are always humble. So being humble and humility is the nature of woman. If men start emulating, I think they can always come to front row. So with all this, we have to be proud to be a woman. So let me conclude prostrating to all the women and womanhood as such, praying to the Lordess Lakshmi or Saraswati or whoever is the consort of all the Bhagavans. The masculinity and femininity go together. So Ya Devi Sarva Bhudeshu Shakti Rubena Samstida Buddhi Rubena Samstida Madhuri Rubena Samstida Namastasye 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 Namo. So prostration to all the womanhood and the entire women in the Logam Samashti and the Prakriti. In front of the Purusha, the Prakriti is there. Without Prakriti, Purusha is not there. So it's a one entity. So all my pranams to all of you who are listening. Thank you so much. Once again, Raghunath Principal and Sandhya, Sindhu Vice Principal, and Vidya. Once again, my pranams to all of you for giving me an opportunity. Sorry, because I have to attend another meeting. So I'm in Coimbatore right now. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to
Thank you
invite.
so much. Okay, did you hear the last part? Because yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you so much. Yes.
Now
Shall
I
I-
invite.
Can
Now,
can I make a move?
yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Now I invite. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Now I invite Sindhu Soman, our beloved Vice Principal, to share a few words.
So my special thanks to Sindhu Mohan also. Yes.
yes. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So I'm very happy and proud. Happy Women's Day to all. And we have heard the words of a very successful woman. She was a fantastic teacher. She was a very excellent principal of Chinmaya School. Who have studied there, you might be knowing. Then last year, she was the president of the Rotary of Tripunithura. So wherever she is, she has actually shown that she is a very successful woman. So no words to appreciate that. And finally, personally, she's a very good counselor and as a psychology expert. She has personally, she solves the problems of children and all during the teenage as a teacher. So in so many ways, she is a very, very excellent person. So I'm thanking her, even though she's not there, I'm thanking her on behalf of our college. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Vishaga, Student Coordinator, for vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I am Vishaka, the student coordinator. First of all, wishing you all a very happy Women's Day. I hope you all have enjoyed the webinar Srinarayana Law College organized for you on this Women's Day. It's my honor and privilege now to give a vote of thanks to all those who have helped us to make this function a grand success. First and foremost, I thank our speaker, Dr. Leela Ramamurthy ma'am, who despite her busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion and for delivering such a great speech. I also express my gratitude to our principal, Dr. Ringanathan sir, for his valuable contribution. My heartfelt thanks to our Vice Principal, Sindhu Soman, for her support, vision, commitment, and everything for this function. Thank you so much, ma'am. My heartfelt thanks to the faculty coordinator, Vidya Kishan Miss, for her guidance and encouragement in all our efforts. Without you, nothing would have been possible. I owe my special gratitude to all teachers and students of Srinarayana Law College for making this one a memorable webinar. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants present here for participating in the workshop. Finally, I leave you with this inspiring quote by Lotte Young, which is a charming woman doesn't follow the crowd. She is herself. Once again, I thank every one of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day ahead.
Okay, thank you, Vishaga. The section is winding up. Once again, wishing you all the participants a happy Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.